So today we're here to do a couple things. First of which is, last time I told you guys I was going to mount a switch here. Well, I wanted to make a couple more measurements here, specifically the clearance I have here, because there's two holes here, and I could just buy this specific brand of micro switch, but I'm probably going to have to make a bracket for it anyway, so I was thinking about just measuring this out, having a bracket that extends off of here, but we'll see. I'll take a look at the cost to it, but I just wanted to have the measurements, so if I wanted to decide to do that I could. The second thing we're going to do is today we also got the goodies to actually finish the trim system, or at least hooking it up. So today we're gonna shave this sort of rod down here, and we're going to connect it to the motor mount. So yeah, this is the electric motor here. As you can see, it's just a little mechanism, and this is the shaft coupler. So the shaft for the sort of drive is going to go into here, and then on the other side is going to be the motor, and this is going to be the mechanical part of it. There's going to be a couple more parts, for like electrical protection to make sure the motor isn't continuing to run once it reaches the mechanical stops, but we don't have to really worry about that right now because we're not going to do the wiring today. And technically this spindle is held in place by these two sort of set screws. What I'm actually going to do once we have this where we want is I'm going to drill out some stuff in this shaft such to that I'm probably not going to drill completely through, but I'm going to drill it such to that it's going to have somewhere to catch, because I don't want this to fail. Not that it would be the biggest deal if it did fail, to be honest with you, because then I would just use the hand crank instead of the electric one, just because of how this mechanism is set up. But yeah, let's hope that this fits together like it's supposed to. I might need to shave down this electric one by like 0.1 millimeters or so, because I believe it's like, this is a 7 point something and this is just ever so slightly oversized, so we'll sand that down. But let's see, this other side fits quite nicely into where it's supposed to go. So yeah, this looks good, but we're definitely gonna have to shave this down, but however much is going to depend a little bit on a few things. But for now, let's just give this a quick shave. Let me grab my safety glasses first though, because I'm wearing normal glasses and that doesn't count. The right size, but it just seems like this is still a little bit too wide, either through my mistake of measuring or we need to widen this. I don't know if I have something to do it properly. So here's where our shaft would go in. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm looking at, but this would go into here while it sits in here, and then the rest of the shaft, and this would go into here. And I really can't make a mistake on this, because if I do, it's pretty much over. Interesting, this is sort of springy. And there's a little bit of a challenge here, making sure I don't shave this down too much. I might need to take this bushing out. Actually, is that a bushing? Sure, crazy. And this will go inside of here. Shaft would go through here, and the worm gear, I believe, would also use these spacers. This, if I'm not mistaken, goes on this side with exactly one spacer, so it's sort of hard to see, but check this out. It's a little bit tight in here, which is why I'm worried about us having space for our joiner, whatever you want to call it. I can't shave that one down, but I can shave the other one down. Keep dropping this worm gear. How much I need to shave this down, I'm not entirely sure, because I need enough space for this sort of joiner here. I could shave down this spacer and use this as a sort of reference. This is gonna get very hot and hurt me. And I would burn myself, but I still chose to do that. Great. me get a better pair of grippers. Not quite. Probably needs, like, let's mark it a little bit. Yes, that is perfect. Literally perfect. Like I could get it any more perfect even if I wanted to. Let's get this out of the way. We're definitely gonna have to shave this thing down. I'm not exactly sure by how much, but actually it's gonna be very easy to tell to a certain extent, because this will always be at the minimum probably the entire length of this to a certain extent. So we can give that a shot and see how it goes. But I really don't want to fuck this up, because if I do, I have to CNC a new shaft for this, which would not be fun. Or I could fabricate one, I guess, and then once I do that, I need to cut my holes into the shafts so there is a place to sit, because I could use Loctite, I guess, but I don't really trust that. So we know at the minimum we're gonna have to cut about this much off, but we'll make our mark knowing that it's we'll be a little bit conservative on the first try, just to make sure we do not fuck anything up. So essentially we want to cut everything that doesn't bite into this green part right here, if I'm not mistaken. Though I'm having a little bit of doubts, because we're actually going to be taking this wheel and pulling it back a little bit more than we would in the first place, just to make sure that, that we are now, because the worm gear has less area to move. So actually that marking probably isn't correct, since we now have the worm gears in a different spot for the pin. Actually, technically this is going to probably come out a little bit more. We might have to cut a little bit into the fiberglass as well, but because instead of being this long, now it's back by this, so we should actually probably subtract this amount from whatever cut we would make. So however long that is, let's measure the distance between the two and then subtract that. So it's going to be 0.36 minus 0.59. It's going to be 19 plus 4, so 0.24 inches. So whatever we have on here, we should not do by 0.24 inches, about this much. So actually we need to add on top of this, make sure we're not shaving off too much. So our actual line is going to be 0.24 inches above this line here, right about. So we actually only want to shave it down to about here, and I'll be really conservative when I'm making the cut, just to make sure, because we can always just readjust it to get it absolutely perfect. What this looks like. Hopefully the idea is that it's going to come out perfect the first time. Doesn't always happen, almost never happens in fact, but sometimes you get lucky. Look at that. Let's see, can we see where the hole is on the shaft? I'll try to show you guys exactly what I'm looking at, so you can understand that this is going to need a little bit more shaving. I'll show you guys why. So let me see if I can get it to focus properly. So do you see this tiny little hole here? Well, there's actually a hole. The hole's right there. It's barely peeking out. Just barely there. You can see it. That hole needs to go here. But there's this shaft here has reached the end of its travel. It's already halfway through this thing. It's not going to go any further in, although I can try and take a look just to make sure. But what that means is we need to shave this down just a little bit more. Once we do that, in theory, it should be pretty much perfect. Although I might need to put a washer or two, because it looks like I might have shaved this bushing down a little bit too much, but that's no problem. But yeah, I'm gonna probably shave this down just a little bit more, but I'm gonna put the motor in here just to double check, because this bushing is not the right size for what we need. Yeah, that's like not gonna fit. So I need to, we'll just do that now. Give this a break and make this a little bit wider. First I need to take this to where it needs to be. Where did I put my big old screws? Just barely. Check this out. See that hole? Get it to focus. Just almost there. Just a little bit more. Almost the width of a Sharpie. And we'll be set. These are going to be in. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Check this out. This is looking pretty sweet. And then if you see here, so this is the pin that goes into here, the roll pin that's going to go in there. And we're going to drill 4 holes, indentations, more like it, into these so that these little things can be screwed in with some Loctite in here. And then when this motor rotates, it'll rotate this worm gear, and it'll also rotate the trim wheel too. Looking pretty good. We're just going to drill those, or mark them. But I'm trying to figure out how I can accomplish that easily, because I don't like have any dye or anything. And a Sharpie is definitely not going to reach in there. Then we're going to let it dry. And we can also take a heat gun to this. That will help very slightly with making this paint dry just a tad bit faster. So I'll go grab that. Out. Never thought I'd be so proud of a hole. But here we are. Also realized my mic was disconnected for the past 30 minutes, but moment of truth, roll pin just barely fits in there. Clearance is perfect. It doesn't get any better than that. So I think we're just about ready for final assembly. So yeah. Mobile One synthetic grease. My favorite, and you buy one of these things, it's like $5. It'll probably last you your whole life. I can't imagine. I have 2 of these for final assembly. I'll try to show you guys, but it's very difficult to get the camera in here because I'm sort of worried about it being knocked over. So this needs to go into there. That's our mechanism. Great. I was pulling too much wattage, probably because of these lights here. So we'll just do this in the dark, I guess. Call it a day because it's already pretty late. There was other stuff I wanted to do today, but that other stuff I think can wait for maybe another day. Yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.